Everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. It's afternoon, lovely day, Friday. Happy Friday. Hope you're staying informed about COVID, all that fun stuff. I wanted to post a video on the Juneteenth thing. Give my quick thoughts, some brain vomit, you know, a brain dump, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna try to be more, clear and just, machine gun it out. Recently there was an announcement from, we heard in the news that it wasn't unanimous. There were multiple senators who voted against it, but in terms of there being a vote, there was a majority vote for Juneteenth to become an official holiday. Juneteenth, I believe, is some holiday about like during slavery. It was like in reference to some celebration for like the first freed slaves. I think that's kind of like what the concept was that was pushed, or what it was originally. So that's what it's for. So my view is I'm not really content with it. It's pretty much. One of the problems I feel as Black people who are part of a traditionally oppressed group, it seems like it's pretty common for us to constantly throw out our support for people, throw out all our views that we have for certain people, and when it comes to reciprocating that, we don't get it. We go above and beyond engaging in corporate activism for a variety of things. We engage in corporate activism or a whole bunch of activism for a variety of things. That includes Asian Lives Matter, gay stuff, even within the LGBTQI+ community. We still have issues where Black gay people, well, I'm not gay, but this is just a reality. I'm not gay, but gay Black people end up still getting discriminated against amongst gay white people. Like we run into all these problems being a part of a traditionally oppressed groups where other groups don't. It seems like other groups, when they're making attempts to get things heard, it seems like because it's new or something, people want to make an effort to help it so much or engage in some action that is indicative of us acknowledging our past problems and so on and so forth. And Black people, out of all people, deserve something more. Before I go into what I'm about to say, I want to be very clear. I'm not anti-Semitic. None of my statements in my argument can be used in somebody else's framework to justify their racism, but these are not where my views are coming from, or justify my racism. To justify xenophobia, homophobia, all that stuff, that's not my vibe. But the main thing is that I'm not pleased. And because I want to mention, Jewish people. Jewish people are also a part of a traditionally oppressed group, and Jewish people have gotten compensated. Now, of course, you can't materialize, pain and all of that completely. Part of, the attempts that there have been in sort of reparations and all that. We've received reparations in the past, but these have been like little local state things, and the reality is many of them, they don't admit guilt. It's like a settlement, pretty much, last time I'm mistaken. This happened with, the hotel thing, when black dudes got shot. They were in a band thing, this in the past. I believe this happened in North Carolina when they had forced sterilization in the past. They gave, I think, equivalent of like $14,000 or something, where it was kind of like a slap in the face. Like, it's only state and local level, and they're not even acknowledging they did it. This is just like, oh, this is a bad thing that happened. It's like a waffle response. Jewish people have gotten this. They've gotten some sort of compensation. And the compensation that they've received is the compensation that Black people have received or other minorities have received in terms of some oppression. Like, Black people have not received any monetary compensation to that scale. Am I advocating for that? No. But obviously, we need something more substantive than a holiday. Jewish people have Holocaust Remembrance Day, but they don't get days off. We need something more. Stop giving people like a dog, like dogs, like a bone, right? This is my issue. So the thing that you run into with This now is there have been so many people who are politically active, so many people who want to contribute to discourse, so many people who want to create some Overton shift, that which is basically like it turns from like, you know, activism and all that to a policy. It seems like all of the stuff that happened last year with BLM, many of the people who were kind of extreme, which I'm not an ethnocentrist, I'm none of these things, not disgusting at all like that. But it seems like all these people are like pleased with like a what is it called? With like a bone for a holiday. Jewish people are still going around saying they're the most oppressed group and all that, where systemically they're white. So like white Jews discriminate against like black Jews. Like there's still, again, like instances where you're part of a traditionally oppressed group. The other individuals who are also a part of traditionally oppressed groups, depending on the society they're in, they end up capitulating to the hegemony, the socially dominant class, and then they leave you to the side, similar to like a token or something. Kind of digress, but the main thing is that, again, we don't have any clear examples of there being substantive policy pushes, substantive policies that are indicative of acknowledging mistakes, acknowledging that people are suffering, and making some more, again, substantive approaches to improving the state of this traditionally oppressed group. Specifically, I'm gonna walk around for a bit because there's a lot of people here, am I in support of reparations? No, I'm not. This is not something that I'm in support of. I think that there are more substantive things that can be, there are policies that can be pushed that don't rely on like a straight direct cash injection, like a cash injection. Personally, I think there are options like, let's see, there may be options like, community outreach, improving the police state, disproportionately negatively impacting black people, getting shot all day in the fucking street. Some more substantive policies. To this date, as it stands, if I'm not mistaken, through all the BLM protests and all of that, there was no substantive policy at all. Zero. Substantive, what I mean by substantive, I mean national legislation passed to remedy any issues between two groups. And specifically this is like the police state, which is like a spawn somewhat of white supremacy, or white supremacists use the police state to impose their will. And police don't have to be racist. I feel these would have been more substantive things to push. Through all the Black Lives Matter protests and all of this, the thing that we get is a holiday. You don't have like sweeping legislation for like childcare, or like, I don't know, sweeping legislation for like pipes being cleaned that have lead in them. Like I figured we'd have like better things, because the idea of like, BLM, it wasn't just specifically for like police brutality and things like that, but the idea was there are problems that traditionally oppressed groups face, and you're trying to make an effort to remedy these things, not by direct monetary gain, but some way that improves their well-being, and it's usually money. It's just not a direct cash injection. Again, funding for a community, all this. I know there's been some infrastructure bills by Biden, but these are really, these things really don't mean anything. People are willing to do all these things, but do the basic thing, which is like, try to push against racism. Extremely hard, hard, very hard. A very robust, strong push against racism. I don't want a holiday. I want my child, or children that I have, to be able to live their life as a brown person, not having to worry about things that white kids don't have to worry about. This is all people want. This is all people who are usually of traditionally oppressed groups want. We want to have many of the privileges, the rights of people who are part of the socially dominant class. You want to give people a holiday? Everything that happened, you want to give people a holiday and everybody's lauding? Nah, take the holiday away. Any day of the week, I'll end it off on this. Any day of the week, I will take it any day of the week. I will take sweeping legislation across the board for police brutality and excessive violence that disproportionately impacts minorities. So it'll include, you know, if you're in a Jewish community and you're being abused, which you're not by police, not by Nazis maybe, not by police. If you're like something that would be directly extremely beneficial to black people. We got roads like named after us, like signs. We got what did we get? We got a sign in front of the Trump thing, like Black Lives Matter, and that seemed like a publicity stunt because within a day, people were throwing paint on it, and police officers were just standing right there, like just sitting there. Just watch the video. Their video's up there. More than once they've painted over the Black Lives Matter thing. Any day of the week, I would choose more things that actually improve the well-being of minorities, specifically regarding the police state, because the only reason they're giving something like this based off all the extreme stuff is because of so much stuff that happened yesterday. At least focus on the police brutality. What's the point of giving people a holiday where you're still not even addressing the deeper issue when there's schools right now pushing against critical race theory? How does it make sense? It doesn't even make sense. People shouldn't be pleased with this. If you're a black nationalist, all that, stop the extremism, but still have some realism, because I'm still willing to deal, you know, we still got a coalition build. Like, you shouldn't be happy about this. This is a spit in your face. Spit in your face. You know, comment, like, subscribe, GG. Happy Juneteenth, I guess, but I don't know. GG.